Well, hey, Internet. It's a Wednesday. It's the Mattriarchy. I am, as usual, your host, Matt Rhys. You can just call me Rhys. I am joined today by Nick. It's not the usual Nick. How's it going, other Nick?
I am neither usual nor unusual.
I am exactly as I intend to be.
You should be officially whelmed.
Well, I feel very expected. That's what things are exactly nominal. I like that. No,
everything is completely mediocre today.
Yeah, Nick Mueller of Demon Hunter Raven fame is a semi-regular on the show. He's been crazy busy the last couple of months and hasn't been able to come on. And
I know the guy. So when you're creating such awesome books as he does, kind of takes up a lot of your time.
Yes, indeed. And I was oh man, it looks like we might lagging. I've got a real low battery signal, or not battery, signal. I'll have to just see how it goes. We'll write it out. We'll find out what happens. The worst that'll happen is it'll kick me off and you'll be left alone on my show.
No! Oh wait, that might be my plan all along.
Yeah, except you don't have the steering wheel for the thing. So, yeah,
Jesus, take the wheel.
Typically, I've got a co-host in case something terrible should happen, but I think things got busy, so he is down in Florida, not where they got hit bad, but
still, pretty much all of Florida is pretty crazy right now.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I am nowhere near there. I am. Yeah. We occasionally I'm out in Nebraska, and occasionally we have tornadoes that'll tear up parts of town, but not regularly. And it's not a big deal, so I'm not even worried about that. But for the most part, Nebraska's storm preparedness is getting to the porch first. So, anyway, but I was watching a video earlier today, and they were taking folk a helicopter out to the West Keys where the storm hit real bad, and there are whole chunks of the island missing. Now, I wouldn't know there were chunks of the island washed away, except there was chunks of the road that had been washed away from where the island was removed from below the road. I was just like, oh my goodness. So it just scooped out chunks of the island under the road, and the road just had crumbled into the sea on some of these places. And it's amazing to me. Amazing to me. But that's why I live out here. That's at least part of it.
Yeah, I'm up here in Michigan. We occasionally get tornadoes too, so it can get scary.
Okay, so now see if I can do this right in the thing here. It's the other way, right?
I
think so.
Well, if you're
because I'm looking to the camera.
It just gets kind of hard. The directions are messing me up, but so if you're wanting to show other people, you use your right hand.
Okay. So I'm using my right hand on the screen there. So I think that's close.
Yeah.
What I got. So Detroit's around here, right?
A little bit south than that, but yeah, generally right. Yeah.
And I used to have a buddy who lived out in out west a ways.
I've lived on the west side of the state, so if you say the town, I might know it.
I'm trying to remember the name of the town right now. Grand Rapids.
Oh yeah, I've been there. It's a beautiful town.
Yeah, we wasn't actually in Grand Rapids. He was somewhere north of. He called it the suburbs, but I don't know how that works. I've never been to Michigan myself.
Was it I'm trying to remember some of the Grand Rapids suburbs. Jensen, whatever. But I've been to that area.
Jensen sounds right, but that might be because I used to have a boss named Jensen 20 years ago.
Yeah, I used to have a buddy of mine that lived out in Jensen, which is a suburb of Grand Rapids, mind you.
Okay.
But there's a bunch of suburbs. I myself, I live in Metro Detroit, so I'm in the I'm sandwiched. I'm sandwiched between Ann Arbor and Detroit. I'm actually a lot closer to Ann Arbor. But
Okay.
like, you know,
Okay.
it's just easier to say Detroit because like everyone's known to Detroit. I mean, some people have heard of Ann Arbor because of U of M, go blue. You know, but yeah, it's just easier to say Detroit because then people have a better idea of where you're from.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So I've never been to Michigan. That's one of the places I've not been. I've been to Florida. I've been to Georgia. Been to Texas. Been to California. Been to Utah.
Oh,
Never been to Michigan.
you really should come to Michigan sometime. It's a really beautiful state, especially this time of year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would imagine being around near. See, I have kin up in Minnesota, so I've been up
Yeah,
to
similar. Yeah,
Minnesota, up
similar.
around Thousand Lakes, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so Michigan's very similar to Minnesota in terms of like weather and environment. You know, trees everywhere. In the fall, they turn all these different shades of colors, and it's beautiful.
and the only thing is, the only time I've ever been to Minnesota is in the summertime, where it's like 100 degrees with 102% humidity. So
Oh yeah,
that's my
yes, it's
Minnesota
bad.
experience. It's miserable. You find a mosquito the size of your thumb, right? It's like that's horrifying. But I mean,
Yeah, we have
it's worth
similar
it.
types of days here in Michigan. Yeah, you can get up to like 100, 105 in some extremes.
Yeah.
Winters aren't too terrible. As far as the coldest it gets is you like sometimes at night it can go into the negatives.
Mm-hmm.
And like at worst during the day it can get down to single digits. But that's just like worst case scenario.
Right. Now out here in the West Nebraska where I live, it is summers is pretty common to top 100 for several weeks during the summers. And then in the winters, you'll get down to we usually hover for a lot of the winter just above 0 Fahrenheit. And then for but it does occasionally go down. And the first winter I moved up here, we had a really cold winter and it was -40 several times.
Oh geez.
Yes. But that is not um the that there is not the worst. I mean that's not the norm.
Like
That's not the
like
norm.
I've had people say like, oh, what I tell them, oh, it can get down to -2 at night. They're like, oh my god, that's so cold. And yeah, it's like it's pretty cold, but I've lived here all my life, so I'm kind of used to it. You know, like it's like it's really cold, but like it's bearable. You
Yep.
know, but like -40, oh
Yep.
dear.
Now it
Like
hasn't gotten that it hasn't gotten that cold like for any sustained period of time for quite a while.
Like I imagine if I wore enough layers, I could probably deal with it because like I'm pretty warm natured. Like
Mhm.
I'm actually pretty good in the winter. You know, like in the summer, I'm dying. But
Well, and
like
it's
in the
and
so
it's one of the things is -40 is not that cold. Star Storyteller says. I said we have a dry. What I was going to say is it's very dry here. It's a semi-arid climate, so you really can't tell the difference between like 15 below and lower. It's just all that cold once it gets that cold.
yeah, it's like my nuts are gonna fall off either way, so I don't
Yeah.
really care.
So, but layering is the secret for everything, and we of course out here we kind of have two seasons. We have summer and winter, and then it's quite cold until it gets blisteringly hot, and then you get about a week of fall and a week of spring.
Oh, here in Michigan, we got you beat. We got 3 seasons. We have almost winter, winter, and then construction season.
Yes.
Those are the 3 seasons of Michigan. And you want to know how you can tell it's spring in Michigan? When the orange flowers begin to bloom across the side of the highway.
I like that. I like that. You have there's a fair bit of road work that happens in Nebraska too, but it's usually all on the interstate. You can if you can take the back highways or the state highways, you'll have a pretty good shot of it. Also saying hello to Della Cake. Is this the week? Is this the week we're getting more Am I a Monster? Because I'm excited for the next chapter. I really, really am. She has this this charming, sad slice of life mystery, supernatural mystery going over there on Global Comics. It's so good.
Great site.
Oh yeah. I like the Global Comics. She says yes. It's the week for the next chapter. That's exciting.
Yeah, like honestly, especially after Amazon gobbled up Comixology, because you know, like they're because like Comixology was a really good like resting ground for everything. Like it was a really good rallying point, and now it's pretty much just nothing. Like the Amazon service is just abysmal, and I feel like Global Comics really has the potential to be that rallying point for comics. It's definitely on that way, in my opinion.
They did something with Global Comics that is really so. Years when I first, that's not when I first. When we were getting into, because my little crew, we started making comics back in 2005. Right.
Oh wow, old school.
Oh yeah. We've been at it for a long time. In fact, the picture that's on the screen here, that you're seeing there, that is the cover image for a new webcomic chapter that we are launching on Webtoons on Friday with a story. Actually, it's a partnership between myself and Mrs. H. I don't know if you're familiar with her stuff.
Oh, I love that woman so dearly.
Yeah. So she
is a blessing upon us all.
Oh yes, you're not kidding. And so this is her art with my colors, and we're kind of co-doing the story, my words, her pictures, and that's what we're doing. So it launches. Starts to launch this Friday, and I am stoked. Very excited.
Yeah. Funny thing you should mention her, because like she's actually done some work for me. In fact, she did the wallpaper that I'm giving away if anyone signs up to my thing.
Very cool. Yeah, she's prolific.
Yes. So with as bubbly a personality as that, I just want to give her all the work.
And she gets to it really quick though. That's being fun. So
and she's really talented too. Like and it's not like a rush job. Plus, she is like amazing at communication. Like my God, I've never met someone who communicates as well. Like she makes you feel like she makes every person feel like they're uber important. You know, like seriously. I wish I could invent 1,000 more jobs just to pay her to do them. But then that would be ruining her time with other people. So I want to be polite about it.
See, there you go. So, but yeah, so that's coming on, and I'm excited for it. Yeah, so that's big ticket. It's a page a week we're doing. It's the 26th story in our Forces of Good and Evil series. And that's if you go to check out forcesofgoodandevil.net, you can see the whole archives. Or if you like the color comics, the first year has been colorized and put on Webtoon as well. So, and this.
How do you guys do on Webtoon?
Nobody looks at it at all.
Yeah,
we've had a few hundred people go over the pages. I've got 16 hearts. But part of it is the style is very different. It's very, very different from what Mrs. H does. And I think that and especially with this story, she draws she has beautiful girls, and this is the whole point of this story is focuses on the female characters. So I think that it's going to be a really good.
She draws like some of the cutest chibi characters I've ever seen. Like I've had her do like chibi characters for like my samurai comic, and they are so adorable.
I hear something humming here. What do I hear?
Oh, is it still going off?
No.
Might have been my phone. It's on vibrate.
Here you go. The metal says, I drew my first 16-page Ashcan in 2000. I was 8 or 9, and it was awful, but it was a legitimate amateur comic, and that's all that matters. Yeah, the metal is also a serious talent in the webcomic game. If you haven't read X Dynamos Chaos, you ought to. It's hilarious, and good stuff. He did the cover for. We're taking the Archives of Forces, the first year's worth of stories, and I'm reformatting them manga sized, and we're going to be doing a manga sized Forces of Good and Evil. That I'm going to print out a few and take the comic conventions and stuff, see if I can get interest of a different audience. So,
yeah, that's always actually really important. I feel like that's something that like a lot of creators kind of neglect, especially in the online space. Like they kind of just stick to their bubble and they don't really try to market outside of it. And I feel like it's really limiting for a lot of creators. Like I'm not saying to don't associate with people,
right?
But I'm saying it's really important to market as to as many people as you can because like, you know, the real world is not Twitter. You know,
Right?
like
Exactly.
and like. I mean, I get a lot of support online, but like at comics, at conventions, I clean house. Like my comics sell really well. Like I did one like a month ago. I sold 70 comics, you know, which is a really good metric, and people tend to like it. So
yeah,
you know,
that is.
and so I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. If you want my books, I'll sell them to you. You know, that's my thing anyway.
No, that's a smart way of doing it. Smart way of doing it for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
So,
yeah, I got one of my books on Webtoons, and it did okay, but like you know, not much eyes in it. I mostly do digital just for, honestly, mostly for preparing myself. Like even if I don't get much now, I feel like eventually I will kind of get big enough to the point where people will want to check out the digital, so that way when I'm ready, it's there. You know.
yeah, our plan from way back in the day was to interest people with the webcomic first, and then produce a bunch of other stuff that was a little different vein, a little more serious, and try to see if we can't interest people in this broader world we were writing comics for.
Mm-hmm.
But that has not worked, and so we have 700 pages that are done of Forces so far. So I decided, and we have this story. It's 2 years in these kids' life, and so we're just going to go ahead and run with that. So we have Neo has come, and hello Neo.
He's a buddy of mine. I like that
Yeah,
guy.
he's a good guy. Taylor Gibson says I found the stream. Delicate says
Taylor, I like your last name. Yes, it's always nice when you find someone who share last names with.
And we have a Star Storyteller saying hello to Neo as well. So yeah, we're getting the crew on here. So officially, because I was gonna have Nick here on next week to talk about his comic that's launching on Friday, but we're probably going to talk about that too. But I lured people here with a promise of an Ask Me Anything. And if some of the other guys had come on for the panel, I was going to tell them behind the scenes, I was going to say, okay, guys, I'm going for the false advertising trifecta. I don't want to answer a single question all night. And they're going to make it a gag. But nobody
You can
else
ask me anything, but that doesn't mean I'll actually answer.
See, that's what I was going to try to do. But that's not going to happen.
That's some monkey paw shit right there.
Because I was thinking if Larry was talking about hoping to be able to come, and Twitless was talking about getting here, but unfortunately, I was not great with communicating with people today because I was busy. So I don't think people knew what the plan was. So there wasn't a plan, and so we made it up. And I think that other people must have made other plans. So
it happens.
It happens. So yeah, if you guys in the chat, or if you, Nick, have any questions about any topic, because I do know lots of useless stuff, and I can make up the rest. So if you guys have any questions, shoot them at me.
What's the meaning of life?
Yes, I did. Taylor is right. I thought Doug Tenaple was tonight. It was going to be, but here is the story. And I'll get your question in a second there, Nick. I'm not going to forget about it. Here's the story with it, is that Matt Krotz, his neighborhood flooded. And so he has been living out of a shoebox for the last week, and he said nothing's wrecked. He says nothing is wrecked, but it's still in a state, and so he didn't have a chance to finish the reading for it. And so because we're gonna do Newts, which is like this much comic, because it's 3 volumes.
Whoa!
Yes, it's a lot.
I was trying to do like that Crash Bandicoot whoa, but I kind of messed it up a little bit.
Well, that's fine. I never really played Crash Bandicoot.
You should play Crash Bandicoot. It's a great game.
I watched my wife play a little bit. I'm not really the platform guy.
At least your wife has better taste in games than you.
Oh man, she is something else. She doesn't like me talking about her on stream.
Well, you married her, so I assume she was pretty awesome.
Oh hey, the metal is joining us.
The metal.
No, chocobo, chicken.
Because I have those like control, and I'm not expecting all of these pop-up things in my way.
Chaos control.
So, anyhow, we do have some questions from the chat. So, Doug Tin April has been bumped to 2 weeks because next week we're gonna have Nick here with his owl comic, which I'll explain that comment with a funny story in a minute. But that was going to be next week. But then I invited him on today because we didn't have a good plan for today because this all happened boom, boom, boom. So who knows what's going to happen? But the Doug Tin April Appreciation Society is in 2 weeks now, which is going to be the 9th. No, the 19th, I mean. So yeah, there you go. So, we've got questions from the chat. How am I doing with my homework? Wait, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Here you go. How am I doing the homework? Well, decently. I got a paper turned in today, and I've got a discussion post due tonight on some poems by Edmund Spencer, and then I have a short essay about mental health and anthropology due in the morning. So there you go. I'm keeping up on it. Just barely. Does anybody else have homework they want to talk about?
I haven't had homework in over 10 years. So
yeah, I was in that
same.
I was in that boat until 2020, and I decided to go back to school and finish my degree.
Oh, how studious of you.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I guess I do have some homework these days, but it's only ever when I'm on like a comics creators club with you guys and you assign me homework.
There we go. Yeah, like I said, my normal number 2 chair, Twitless, he is in fact a professor of comics. So he likes to keep it up there. So, other questions here. Okay, if you could have a superpower, what would it be? Let's have the whole panel answer this. Why don't you go first? Metal, what do you think?
If I could have a superpower, like, let me think about that.
And you can't say I already do. This is conjecture.
I do have several superpowers. Okay, that's not the point.
Your super charisma does not count.
No, I actually have super timing. Okay, which is an actual thing.
True.
I am always exactly where I need to be at the time I need to be there.
So you're like the anti-Barry Allen.
Yeah, I would have to say thermodynamic control.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's nice.
All right, so you're basically a fire starter.
Or cooler.
Yeah, no, any direction. That's the control of entropy.
Yep.
So I could reverse decay if I wanted to.
Yeah, there you go. I'd just like to be God. Is that possible? Okay, how about you, Nick?
See, I'm split between 2 different types of powers. One would be shapeshifting, and by that be turning into both animals and humans. So basically think Mystique, but also can turn into different types of animals. Different types of humans and like animals, shapeshifting. The other one would be hydrokinesis, which means I can control water, but also like turn it into ice and whatnot. Basically, waterbending. Waterbending.
Yes. So mine, very simply, super speed, because there is not enough time for me to take care of all the stuff I need to do, and my clock's already runs a little fast. I listen to audiobooks on 2x and podcasts and the whole thing, so I definitely have the need for speed. So there you go.
I love those games. I love that franchise. I love Need for Speed.
So, what is the airspeed of an unladen swallow, an African or European swallow? Do you have a favorite superhero team up or crossover story?
Anytime that Superman and Batman meet up is always great.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that counts because they're like actually in the same universe. So it's
so we're talking like, in that case, Spawn Batman's mine.
Yeah, Spawn Batman is really good. I'm also a big fan of the Batman Daredevil back from the 90s. Just because it was really evocative and I thought they had a fun dynamic going on there. But I don't know that I wouldn't know that that's necessarily a favorite on there. Although right now my most recent most favorite one was Black Ops X Common America X Soul Finder. That was all kinds of great. But
Common America has really been blown up this past year, and I am so happy.
Yeah, but once again, those are kind of in the same universe, so it's like it is a crossover story. But how do you want to play that? So,
yeah.
How about you, Metal? Do you have a favorite?
For really dumb reasons, mostly nostalgia. When I was a youngin, I really liked Power Rangers, as anybody should have. I don't care how campy it is.
Go Power Rangers!
And by the time they made it to Power Rangers in Space, they had a crossover episode. With
I know what you're about to say.
Turtles.
With what now?
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ooh, okay.
So
even if it was the worst version of the Turtles. Even if it was the worst version.
It's such a good episode.
Well, and I like, I gotta say, like the getting back to the subject here, there was a really great Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and a Batman miniseries.
They just made an animated movie about it recently.
Yeah, they did make an animated movie too. That was really good.
Shredder versus Batman was such a great battle.
Yeah, that was a fun one. So I guess that goes on the list too. So there are some fun. Delicate says, "What is your go-to series for inspiration?" I don't really have one, to be completely honest. Because the tone that I'm going for. Okay, if you were going to pick one for like Forces, the tone that I'm wanting most closely to balance in the same way, but not the same manner. Peter David's Young Justice, it was perfectly able to balance comedy and superhero action, right? And that's exactly what I'm trying to do with Forces. And the Impulse series from the 90s was the same way, where it was comedy and action. And with Forces, I'm trying to balance comedy, action, drama, and morality play. So it's a little more involved with what I'm trying to do. But it's that sense of balance that really kind of keys in a lot of the style that I want to go for, because I believe that cross genre fiction, in order to be good, it has to it has to be both things, right? So if you're doing like a superhero romance, you can't short change the romance, and you can't short shift the superhero action, right? So a great example of that is like 1990s Spider-Man, right? So the marriage of Peter and Mary Jane, man, those guys were in love with each other. They were complimenting each other on an emotional level. Um, uh, Mary Jane was no pushover, but she was still just a person. So there's this damsel in distressness in there, but man, she was still a real tough cookie. But it didn't shortchange the action either. It was knockdown, drag out. The stakes felt real all the time. Both Peter and Mary Jane were dealing realistically with the trauma that they experienced from nearly dying and saving each other and all that kind of stuff. In fact, in one of my, it's over here, but one of my favorite Spider-Man, actually probably my favorite Spider-Man graphic novel, it's called Spirits of the Earth, and it really does all the things where it's built on the romance between the two, but also like but it doesn't pull any punches with the superhero action. So I guess if that's kind of, those are some of the themes, but there's not like a one series that, like, if I get stuck on a story that I go back and I'll like, oh man, I really need to watch Death Note again or something. Just because, like, I mean, I already kind of know what I'm doing with Forces as a big picture. I just have to sit down and put the pieces together. They've already been laid out. So other projects are similar with that. So does anybody else have something they want to add? Do you have a go-to series for you?
I mean, for me, it's always been kind of like the Batman comics of the 90s, early 2000s, the Nightwings, Marv Wolfman, Teen Titans is is very foundational for like my taste in storytelling, because like New Teen Titans was literally the comic that got me into comics. Like it's the one that really kind of opened the floodgates for me, my love and passion of the medium, and I'll always kind of have the George Wolfman. What did I just say? George Wolfman, Marv Wolfman, George Perez run. It's just iconic, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
Rest in peace.
I think they did a lot to kind of bring them and Claremont both did a lot to bring the drama into superhero comics.
I mean, they were contemporaries. Like I think in the 80s, like this is something that a lot of people don't realize. In the 80s, Teen Titans was like one of DC, like literally DC's #1 selling comic. Yep. Like back in like the early to mid 80s, kind of thing. Like they were giving X-Men a run for their money, and this was when X-Men was at its peak of popularity. So it's like people forget how popular Teen Titans was.
I am legally obliged to say Hail Raven.
I mean, a Raven is responsible for probably 90% of us being into goth chicks, so.
Anyway. Well, my obligations come to being one of the few surviving founding members of the Cult of Raven, so I have to.
You got to carry that flag. I get it.
So, but yeah, okay, that settles that question. Man, we're going with this whole theme. Okay, Star Storyteller is here with a guilt trip. I will call you. Tony Sizzle says, "When is the last time you got to kick somebody's ass?" It has been
wait. That implies that there was a first time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
His question implies that I've ever actually kicked someone's ass.
Oh yeah.
So I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any implications needed on my end.
No, yeah, that's very true.
No, you're all out of bubble gum.
I have a feeling, Metal, that yours have been in somewhat more formal circumstances than the fights I've been in.
Some of them not so much. I think the last informal one was probably a couple years ago. Every so often you walk around and somebody decides to do something stupid. Not too long ago, I think a few years, me and my brother were walking back from the bank and some dude pissed off and ran out of his car and tried to attack us, but then he pussed out immediately after he saw that there was any resistance.
Yeah.
Some mother efforts always got to ice skate uphill, don't they?
Yep. It does happen sometimes. In Nebraska, it's what is a fight by mutual consent is the law on the books. So if you swing back in self-defense, then both people are going to jail. So there's a real incentive to not get into a fist fight where anyone can see you.
Yeah, we have that too. Our mutual consent laws are a little more lenient.
Yeah.
As long as it's not in the public's way, it's fine.
So basically, you can kill each other, but don't you dare inconvenience.
No, you can't actually kill somebody. But if
No.
you opt into a fight, like you can fight to, I guess, borderline brutality.
Yeah. Well, and like the way it used to be considered was like equal force, right? So, if somebody punches you, you could punch them, but that's not the way it is here anymore. You can dodge, you can block, you know, you can let somebody trip over their own feet. You can trip them, but if it's a way of getting around you, but you cannot, you know, you cannot punch back here. So anyhow, Taylor points out every superpower is actually a collection of micro powers in order to work. That's true. Lorenzo Sleestack is here, or was anyway. This was a while ago. Have you ever hello? Neo says, have you ever heard of Hurricane Polymar? No. I don't know what that is.
Is this some math joke that I'm too stupid to understand?
I don't know. Spork and Shield make it happen. Huh. That's interesting. Okay. Wilford Brimley says turtles. Hey, Draw and Talk series is manga size. we're way back there, guys. We're way back there. How do you like your steak and why is it medium rare? Actually, I do like my steaks medium rare. It depends on
That's too dark.
Yeah. I a little less is good. I don't like too much bloodiness, but I don't get a steak real often. So typically it's burgers, and I wouldn't, I know people that have their burgers like rare, medium rare, and I'm like, you know how they treat that meat in the factory? No, I'm gonna take a chance at killing everything.
Well, the thing with burgers specifically, it just needs to reach a certain internal temperature, and you can steak almost one spot and it's fine. It's going to be kind of predictive of the rest of the burger. But no, steak, I prefer mine blue rare if possible, but I don't trust most cooks, so I just ask for rare.
I usually do medium well. It's usually what I do. So I have one person who literally says to the cook, I want it so rare it moves when I poke it.
My wife used to work at a steakhouse. She'll probably hate me for saying this story, but she used to work at a steakhouse. And one day, and she's a vegetarian. She doesn't mind that other people eat meat, but that's just not her thing, right? Mm-hmm. So she's taking orders at the steakhouse, and her ex walks up and orders a steak rare, so it's mooing on the plate, that whole thing, and just stared her right in the eyes like the whole time, like he was just trying to make some sort of point to her. And it was like she came home and she says, "So this happened." And I was like, "What a creep."
I do that to my cousin. I have a cousin who's kind of like a veggie freak in that way. She's like all moral about it and stuff like that, so she kind of deserves to be egged on. And I remember me and her older brother were sitting there eating veal and talking about how much we liked the veal right in front of her. It was great.
I've never had veal, but so let's see here. Yeah, it's on the side note. Marvel shortchanged the action for queer relationships. DC too. That's 100% fact.
I once had a vegan ask me, "How can I eat meat?" And I said, usually quite quickly because it's very tasty."
Yeah, just with sauce if it's too done. What is your favorite area outside of area of comics outside of superheroes? Ooh.
Talking about genre or like industries, like they're talking about like manga or like.
I think they're talking genre.
So outside of Cape Comics, because a lot of the stuff I like that aren't Cape Comics, which I tend to like more, I would still qualify as superheroes because they're following the hero journey and there's like superpowers involved. They're just not being sold as a Cape comic. A lot of manga I like are basically superhero stories.
Yeah, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's a fighting comic, but they're heroes in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, Twitless, how's it going?
Hey.
So, what's your favorite area of comics outside of superheroes?
That's a good question because I kind of love superheroes a lot.
I'll tell you mine. You could think on it a little while since I just sprung it on you.
Gotcha.
I'm going to say mine is westerns and fantasy right under that one.
So we're talking genres, right?
Yeah, we're talking genre. So I like this superhero hero stories, but I like also like a good western, like Jonah Hex. That kind of rides that line. Is he a hero? Is he just out for himself? Is he trying to preserve himself? How's it go with that? And those some of that ambiguity that goes with westerns.
I've got an answer. I actually have the answer to this question, but it's going to totally like destroy all my cred. All my remaining cred. The genre I love apart from superheroes is trashy sordid romance.
No, that's perfect.
All right, hand over your man card. Hand it over right now.
Not at all. I mean, we all need some trashy sordid romance in our life. I'm not ashamed of that.
So mine's gonna be worse because superheroes aren't even my favorite genre.
What?
I'd have to say shonen kung fu comedies are my favorite genre.
Okay.
I've got
That's
a comment.
My
for
name
you.
is Betty.
You need to read the Quas Shotgun Samurai if you haven't. Then
I'm a bit familiar with it. I haven't read all the way through, but yeah.
Dude, you need to check out my comic turned samurai in that case. You'd love it.
But like my favorite comic of all time is Rumiko Takahashi's Ranma 1/2, which is just amazing in every way.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Aside from like the major part of like the whole like sex change with the water and like the double harem, reverse harem thing, the main crux of it is basically just like a Jackie Chan like Hong Kong comedy.
So
never mind.
We got some more participation in chat. This is great. I leave for 5 minutes. I leave for 5 minutes, and everybody shows up for.
We are popping off with the questions here. Okay, we got some people talking about damsels in distress. Teen Titans has taken the world by storm no less than 4 times through its history. I think that's probably a fair statement about Teen Titans.
Yeah, because you got like the initial run, and then
the initial
2000 show.
Here's the fun thing of the initial run. Was that it didn't sell numbers, right? It only lasted for like 14, 15 issues because it didn't sell really well.
Oh, yeah, you're thinking of the 60s run, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone who bought it became like a Titans fan for life, right? like if they kept on with comics, right? Like then they when Wolfman and Perez came to the list, like, we'd like to renew this. Those are the guys that were there and were at the shop talking about it. So that's a big factor there. So yeah, man, we're way back there with this thing. We
got Wilford Brimley. We got Zippy the Unicorn.
Wilford Brimley's talking about Elvira, and also
Jim Tuner's in chat. So good. Thank you for all for joining.
Oh yes, thank you. Talking about goth chicks from before. It goes even before to
Vampira.
To Vampira, yeah. So we gotta dial back up on that one. Okay. Hey, Mrs. H is here. Sweet.
Oh yeah.
We were just talking about your awesomeness earlier.
Her ears must have been burning pretty fierce.
Come back for it.
Our resident pickle patron.
Yeah.
I support a petition to bring back duels at dawn or noon. Seriously. I can dig on that. I'm not even kidding. Because I'm telling you guys, there are some things that you just need to hit in the mouth over. That's just the way it is. Okay. So should dueling come back to legal books again? Yes. Silver Age Palomar is a Silver Age anime superhero. Oh, Hurricane Palomar. Okay, I did not know what that
is. Is that one of Neostar's characters?
Yeah. No, it was. I think it's a Japanese character.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay, so let's see here. Any sheep meat, whatever it's called, is horrible. Oh, I don't necessarily think that's fair, but he to each his own. Okay. Somebody saw like gay romance comics. Well, that's a genre.
Oh, I've seen images of Hurricane Palomar before. Like I recognize this hero after looking it up.
Okay.
I've just never like watched anything on it.
Yaoi is pretty popular among a certain segment of people.
So Jim Tuner says the stream is like a reunion of old time cranks. It's good to see you all. I appreciate that. I like sports manga a lot, even though I'm kind of lukewarm to watching actual sports. You are not the first person that I've heard say that.
Well, that's because sports manga is written like battle shonen, just in a sport.
Yeah.
I mean, sports shonen is basically tournament arc the manga. It's basically just one giant tournament arc after the other.
Twitless was grading papers. I wondered about that. Completely honest, gotta say. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking through the chat to see what questions are there. If there's any other questions, or if it's just chatting.
The best sports manga is, or the anime version is Keijo, which is water sport where women with big hips try to knock each other off of a platform with their butts. It's great. They shonen style attacks and stuff. You know,
you have me. You have me at big butts.
So, I have never read a sports manga, but I did read Dragon Hoops by Jin Lun Yang, and I've been told it's similar, but not. So, here's there's a whole breakdown. Neo's got the whole breakdown here on Hurricane Palomar from Tatsuno Productions. Same people made Speed Racer, Battle of the Planets, and Time Bokan. There you go.
Yeah, I think the character actually even showed up in a bit in Tatsunoko versus Capcom, which might be where I've seen it before.
Cool. So here's a question: does Dragon Ball Super count as sports manga?
No.
No.
You could say that there are arcs that count as sports when they're actually doing tournament, but a lot of their fights are fights to the death, so it's more than just sport.
Yeah. So would any of you guys be interested in writing a sports comic?
Probably not, because for me, I had to be interested in the subject matter. I have to be like really passionate about the story in order to do my best. So I'm not really much of a sports guy, so I feel like I wouldn't be able to do it justice.
How about you, Twitless? He must have left again.
We lost him, Jim.
I would totally write a sports like comic or whatever. Especially like, I don't know, I already do like martial art tournament style stuff in uncouth ways, so that's borderline in there. But I would do something regarding some other established sport, like a dodgeball comic would be really fun.
A dodgeball comic would be really fun. I've used some of the sports elements in sections of forces, because it's a school, so you've got tournaments and that kind of thing. I've never gone as full in on it as My Hero does with their big tournaments, but we've had some of that. I had a jousting tournament and stuff that was in a different thing, but
a hurling comic would be great. I would love to do like a heavily Irish field hockey comic.
Yeah, well, actually,
oh my god.
Well,
please do it so I can read it.
Well, actually, you don't have to wait. I'm just trying to get to. Omeow Studios does a comic called Oi, which is an Iron Age punk rock Irish comic that mixes like punk rock comics and hurling comics and battle comics all together in a pseudo Iron Age setting with and it's just really great. So like hurling is a big plot point. It's about a bard who is sent to this tiny island on the north coast of Ireland, the tiny village on the north coast of Ireland, and it's been like a generation since any of them heard a song, because they're so remote. And so this bard gets sent out there to do his internship with a local druid, and the only thing this village does is fish and play play hurling, and well, wackiness ensues from there. So
that's
amazing. It's on Webtoon and on Global Comics, and you can buy manga-sized editions of the volumes on Amazon. So
nice.
So yeah, it's actually really fun. And the web version's all in blue ink, so it's got a really cool aesthetic. But the print copy, only like the first issue was done in blue ink, because there was a print house to him local that did that as a process, and then they quit doing it because it got like they couldn't make their money on it. So only the very first issue was a very limited print run in blue ink. The name of the comic is called Oi. Let me see if I can't find a link to the Global Comics thing for you guys. Really good comic. I have not been able to keep up on the webcomic version of it, which is like 2 volumes ahead of what's been printed, because I don't take the time to just sit and read comics on the computer very often. But I've bought the manga-sized prints collections.
Should we put on some music while we're waiting?
Yeah, probably.
So does anyone have any other questions they want us to answer?
I haven't seen any questions in a while. Other than what was the name of the comic? That was a question.
All right, I got one for you. What is your favorite video game and why?
Okay. Mine's Fallout 4. I like it because I like to build things and fix things and negotiate peace with rival factions and blow up scientists. So
you literally just described Fallout 4, so I can see why it's your favorite game.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean I like the idea of turning a post-apocalyptic wasteland into an anarcho-capitalist paradise. So plus guns.
For me, I have like a couple of them. Like one that kind of comes out to mind is a game for the Game Boy Advance called Golden Sun, which is an RPG with like a really cool mechanic system. But other than that, I'd probably say like Final Fantasy VIII. I just love the story and just the mechanics.
Of all Final Fantasies, you picked 8.
Yes. You don't think I know that I have the unpopular opinion? Like FS7 is cool. Don't get me wrong.
No, I would have criticized 7 too.
Well, fine. How about this? The other Final Fantasy that I like is Final Fantasy IV. Come on, you can't rag on.
You know what? No. I don't think 4 is the best, but it's my personal favorite. I would probably have no problem with that one being a choice. I think the SNES Final Fantasies still stand way above all the ones that came after it.
For me, Final Fantasy IV is the most Final Fantasy. Like it has the most well-defined story. Like it's just like, and I also love the whole Cecil the Dark Knight choosing to be better and become a paladin. Like that, I just love that whole I'm evil but I want to be better, and he makes the choice to become better. Just like the whole journey is really great, and the characters you feel for them.
So from the chat, Jim Tuner says, "What about Kojima's epic package delivery and IT work? The greatest game ever, or is it a job?"
Oh, you mean Mountain Dew Energy Drinking Simulator? or the subtitle is How to Convince Sony Entertainment to let you waste hundreds of millions of dollars and get away with it.
Well, and I've not played either of these games, but I had some friends who were crazy about Shenmue and I was just like, so he's like, yeah, you got to work a job and pay rent, and I'm like, you're supposed to be going to work in a half an hour, like for the reals. Yeah, it was funny. Anyway, question: when's the last time you checked Twitter? Before I started the show. This love Shenmue when it came out. Okay, so here
Shenmue is good. That's a good game. I'm just a huge Dreamcast fanboy, so there's that too.
The Dreamcast was an interesting system. It does have probably my second favorite Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Okay.
Also, I do agree with what Twitless says. Chrono Trigger is the best Final Fantasy game.
Okay, I got to share this.
No, see,
just-
I'd have to say, if you expand it to that regard, then Super Mario RPG is the best Final Fantasy game.
God dang it! Dang it! You're right. Crap! You're actually right.
I will still die on the hill. Chrono Trigger is the best.
Chrono Trigger is amazing.
Is anyone trying to kill you for that particular?
I'm just saying. Chrono Trigger is like the best JRPG I think I have ever played. I think the only Final Fantasy I ever finished was 12, and I was like, at the end. I tried to play 6, which a lot of people say is the best. I was like, I could make it through it. Chrono Trigger, I have played multiple times, and I just absolutely love it. It sucks. It's a game for even people who don't like JRPGs. Play freaking Chrono Trigger.
Well, I think
How
it's
do you
my
feel
most
saying
people's
now?
favorite because it's kind of light on the JRPG part.
The Super Mario one?
No, Chrono Trigger. It's like it's light on the JRPG part, so that's like for people who don't like JRPGs, it's great. But for people who like the genre, it's a little too light. It's a short game too.
It's got a lot of replay value though.
Yeah, it was one of the first games to do like a new game plus type thing.
Yeah, and there's all the different angles you can take on getting to the ending. So it's like there's so many because it's essentially dealing with this kind of multiple branching kind of timeline kind of thing. There's a lot to. It's got a lot of depth to it. It's not just linear like a lot of JRPGs end up kind of being. So.
I mean, like, Chrono Trigger is kind of like, it's literally a dream team. It's like the best of the Final Fantasy devs with the best of the Dragon Quest devs with Akira Toriyama on art duties. It's like the best of the best of the best of like the RPG devs still in their prime made this game, and it shows.
It's also got like a kick. It's got like an amazing. It's got one of the best, most memorable video game soundtracks too.
So that is true.
I have to interrupt you. I have a request from the chat to acknowledge the pickle.
Oh, there's our spickle.
I turned myself into a pickle, Marty.
That was a recurring joke on the show. But yeah,
that's awesome. It is. This is our mascot.
Okay.
although this is a spin on our mascot because our mascot is Spider Pickle.
Yes.
Spider Pickle.
All because I had opinions about multiverses, and that ended up with the pickle.
Like,
I take credit. I take credit. That was me. I take credit for the pickle. I was the one who made the pickle joke.
Yeah, you stole it from Dan Harmon, but that's okay.
Man, you put yourself in quite the pickle, didn't you?
I always acknowledge the power of the spork, even in the pickle.
Where's Spork, man? He would love this.
Yes, I'll have to say.
Oh my god, that joke is literally made for him.
Yeah, that's pretty great. It's pretty great. When he was on 2 weeks ago, was it now? Or was that last week? I've lost track of things. It was 2 weeks ago. And we were talking about that on there. So, or was that last week? I don't know. I can't remember. Okay.
So Hero says, I played Chrono Trigger so much in the PS1 Final Fantasy Chronicles and never played whatever actual FF game it was packed with. That's the power. Exactly. That's the power of freaking Chrono Trigger.
That there is a great thing. So
also Frog is one of the best video game characters ever. Do not try and change my mind.
Frog is good. I really liked Magus. But Frog is a good. They're almost. It's a game where I can't think of a. There's normally a character that you hate when you have a JRPG like lineup. It's like, oh, here's the character I hate it when I have to party up with blank, or that character is just an idiot or whatever. And I'm like, I don't think there's a single dud in the entire Chrono Trigger cast. I like them all, and it was fun to play with all of them. I think without exception. So again, it's another amazing thing about that game is the fact that every single character was amazing and cool, and you liked playing with them.
The only thing I'm afraid of is if they ever do a Chrono Trigger remake, I fear like they take Luca and just make it like literally like because she's like a really good like smart capable character, but I feel like they go way too far with their character. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think they'd make her too independent? I I don't need any.
I was trying to tippy-toe around it, but yeah.
What's cool about her in the game is she's just kind of like a good friend. She's a really good friend character, and Merle is a good female protagonist. They're all great.
I like characters who are strong and badass, but they don't take away from other characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of the problem I feel with a lot of fiction nowadays, is where you have these Mary Sue type characters where they come in, they're so awesome, and they literally devalue all the other characters. I don't like that. If you give me a strong character, sorry.
There's literally even like a Tarzan strong female character, and even she didn't come across as obnoxious. Was it Ayla or whatever?
And Marl, she's a damsel in distress, but even she is not really an annoying damsel in distress. At least she helps herself.
Yeah, they're all great. They're all great characters. And they're also like in terms of their movesets and their abilities and everything, they're all fun to use. The combinations you can do with them later on, they can start doing combo attacks. It's fun to experiment and play around with.
I mean, let's be fair. The best lineup is Chrono, Marl, and Luca. I mean, come on.
I did Magus. Who did I play? Magus, Merle, and who was my third? I forget. Might have been Frog.
I don't know. It just seems like since if you have Chrono in the party, you don't need two swordsmen.
Once you got that's the other side thing. The Chrono Trigger is a game that once you reach a certain point, the game no longer makes you play with the main protagonist. It really breaks the mold. Normally in those types of games, you're stuck with your main protagonist the entire game. You can swap out a couple people, but after the big moment, the game really opens up and you make a party out of anybody you want. So you can basically play the whole game without Chrono or finish the game without Chrono in your main party if you want.
All right, Chrono, you're out of the party now.
That's what I usually did because like Chrono's fine, but Magus is my favorite, so I would just make him my main and then throw a couple people to back him up.
I mean, he's just so powerful,
I know that's what it's that's the other awesome thing about Chrono Trigger. You get an awesome character who's like a villain for like half the story, and then he gets to be a party member, and he's not nerfed to how it's normally it's like, oh, they have those memes about the boss when he's a boss, and then the boss when he becomes a member of your party and he's like nerfed to hell and he's just crap. Magus actually escapes that. They make him balanced enough, but he's still kind of freaking OP. So you can have a lot of fun.
So I wonder what came first, Magus or Vegeta?
I'm sure Metal could probably knows the timeline on that.
Like, I actually don't know the timeline, so like I'm actually genuinely curious because like Akira Toriyama is involved with both properties, so it's like right. I'm wondering if there's some cross pollination there.
I mean, most definitely.
I'm trying to remember when the Needs of the Many came out because that's Vegeta's first appearance.
Oh my god!
Yeah, because like I'm just wondering because in my opinion, one had to inspire the other. Either Chrono Trigger inspired Megas inspired Vegeta, or Vegeta inspired Megas. I feel like one had to,
I would have to say it would definitely be Vegeta because Needs of the Many came out in November of 1988.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't think Magus actually doesn't give me Vegeta vibes. Magus gives me Piccolo vibes. I more think he's.
I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah, he's even older. Yeah.
Right. Okay, we probably should stop talking about Chrono Trigger.
Vegeta, I'm wanting you.
Vegeta is the national hero of Mexico, says Jim Turner.
What is this stream devolved?
Oh, this is glorious! Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is our epic crossover of Spider Pickle and Space Tree.
Space Tree.
Space Tree.
And she says, "I'm now caught up on pickle requests." Perfect.
Thank you, Mrs. H. These are beautiful.
So here's what got me how I knew that something was going on. She sent this, and this. And I was like, okay.
She's a sneaky little bugger.
Oh man, this is
also Neostar picked up on my reference. Thank you.
Yeah, DBZA.
So there you go.
Space Tree was a reference. Yeah, we need to start doing that thing that Stan Lee does, where you put the caption in and say, "True Believers, this is a reference to episode blank." So, True Believers, this meme that you're seeing before you that's so glorious is a reference to Comics Creators Club number. Which one was it?
I think that was the 5th. I don't know.
We're
I need
super
to go back and do
professionals.
some. I need to go back and do some description management and put people's links and stuff and blah 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 blah.
This is a reference to the Mattriarchy comics creators. You didn't even number it.
No, I didn't. I don't think I even
Okay.
did. I
How
put it
dare
on-
you?
This one isn't numbered either. So
Oh gosh.
I
Okay.
put it up before I didn't have a chance to figure out what time it was. I was running.
Well,
way
it's the
behind.
last one before this one. You should totally watch it. We had a great time.
So it was just last week then, and it was really good.
It was really good.
I have a question for you all. How would Spider Pickle react if you met Bat Pickle?
Met Bat Pickle.
Yeah.
Well, I think that happened last week. I think that was one.
Last time on Pickle Quest Z.
Yeah, something like that. So I believe that they were both very sad because they're both orphans. I think
That's
is how it
right.
was.
Yeah, they both bonded over their mutual trauma, which is essentially what is happening right here. Spider Pickle is bonding with Space Tree over their mutual trauma because Space Tree got thrown into space by the Canadian Shield
got
for no
yeeted.
reason.
For no reason, like literally no reasons.
No, it was just happened. He was trying out his new superpowers that are
Threw his
powerful.
tree to space for
He
no
picked up a
reason.
tree and he just launched it, and he's like, "Hey, look! It just keeps going and
The
going."
Canadian space program.
But
That
but,
was
what,
the best joke of the
That
entire
is
night.
a great joke.
but isn't Space Bush missing its friend?
I don't know what a space bush is.
I was about to say ask your mom, but like I didn't want to go there.
Thanks, Brian.
But you did anyway.
I know. I found a way, like nature.
I thought I haven't seen Brian in a couple weeks.
Yeah, he's been busy with stuff for the reels. They're they've been cranking some stuff out on their end, so it's
Alright,
getting
good deal.
exciting. Getting ready for Rags issue 9. It's almost finished.
Dang, I got to admire their the number that they're hitting. A Star
Yeah.
Storyteller says, "Hey, nice to hang out. Got to get going."
Yeah. I will get a hold of you this weekend at some point.
All right, so I had to jump away. Are we caught up? Are there any
I
questions?
think we're caught up with all the questions. Yeah. Nick, we didn't talk about your project at all. I do have questions to ask, but I had planned on having you back next week. So do you want to do
Yes.
the full on interview then?
Yeah, let's do it then. Let's not keep people around longer than we have to.
Yeah. So I am going to go ahead and share a couple of links in the thing. Nick is having a launch stream for what's it called? Because like it's an owl comic, yo.
Screecher.
Okay. So that's not what I meant to do. That's the wrong chat. He is doing there's a launch stream going on Friday night at this
Yep,
link.
I'll be partnering with Comics League, with Jared from Comics League. I'll be launching it on his channel live. Stream starts at noon Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be launching the comic at 12:30 p.m. EST.
So here is the story. I got to tell you. You guys remember that the Legends of the Guardians, the Warriors of Ga'Hoole, that CG owl movie that was out a few years ago? Right? So the other day, several years ago, there's a Nebraska-ism where we'll say the other day, and it's at any indeterminate point in the past. So the other day, I was at the Red Box wanting to check out a movie. I remember what it was even. And there was a fellow who was there first. And he was there on the cell phone talking to his girlfriend, his wife, his mom, I don't know, some gal on this side of the phone. And he was saying that he was just going through the movies, and he's like, Legends of the Guardians. He said, "What's called Legends of the Guardians? Look, it's an owl movie, yo."
I mean, that is one way to describe it.
Are you saying you didn't give a hoot?
I actually watched it later. I was there to watch something else that night, but I have seen it. So
when he did that, where you're like, "I will be back."
No, I just waited. But I it was one of those things where it branded itself in my mind. And now anytime I see an owl anything, the first thing that pops into my head is it's an owl, whatever. Yo,
It's an owl comic, y'all.
it's an owl
Wilford
comic,
Brimley
yo.
has a very important question. Is there a way to keep Doom Guy out of hell? And yes,
I-
there is. Give up the bunny rabbit.
Yes. What's the name of his bunny? I can't remember.
Daisy? Isn't it Daisy?
It's
Daisy.
Daisy.
Yeah, it's Daisy. I mean, heck, if they hadn't have killed Daisy, he might have just went home.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's Doom the video game.
Do you have any superheroes that can defeat a bird as big as a battleship?
No, defeat.
Defeat.
I have a bird as big as a battleship in my stuff.
Yeah,
Not
I don't know.
currently.
I don't know.
I do actually.
I probably
in fact, there is a story I'm going to be writing, hopefully soon, which actually has a superhero that I'm creating who goes up against a rock, ROC, which is essentially what you're describing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
mythical bird. Yeah.
Wilford
Yeah,
Brimley
I've got
says he doesn't. Wilford Brimley says he doesn't want to give up Daisy. Well, then you be it on your own head. Be it rip and tear.
Yeah, Hiroshi gets it. Tootsie Roll pops. It's an owl sucker, yo. You understand me? So, there you go. I put it in the chat though. You've got that link to the launch. I'm also going to drop in there. Nick's campaign launches on Friday, and here is the.
Just wanted to note that anyone who signs up will get a free wallpaper made by Mrs. H herself. Yes, a custom creature made. And by the way, Mrs. H, I know you're in the chat. Just want to say thank you for making an awesome wallpaper. I'm sure everyone's going to love it. And that's free to anyone who signs up. And then anyone who goes and backs the campaign will get 3 free ebooks from my previous campaigns.
So sweet.
So if you want some of that Mrs. H, if you want some of that Mrs. H goodness, all you got to do is literally sign up to be notified. That's all you got to do.
You know,
There is no bigger.
apropos of nothing, speaking of Doom, I actually think, and there's an amazing story to plumb in the whole idea of, the meme of Animal Crossing and Doom Guy.
Oh my God, yes, those are so adorable.
Yeah.
I devoured those. I devoured those so much.
There's an entire story. I kind of want to write. I'm toying with this idea of essentially channeling that kind of a mashup.
I mean, it's basically dad and daughter kind of story. It's basically a dad and daughter kind of
Right,
story,
except with hell and cute animals.
Lone Wolf and Cub.
Like, I'm sorry,
As long
but
as
like,
the
I love some of
character's
those fan
better than
videos.
Isabel, because I hate Isabel.
I don't know, like just I love some of them where it's like he's trying to teach her to shoot, and she like gets pushed back, and then she's like walks up, and then the other one where it's like rip and tear, and it's just like they got like that cool camera shot. It's just, I don't know, it's just the pairing was so adorable. I loved it so much.
I'm gonna say, Nick, if you dig that kind of parental, like tenderness, authority, compassion kind of thing, you really should read Delicate's comic on Global Comics. Because
I probably should.
Yeah, it's good. It's the beginnings. It's the very beginnings of the thing yet, so not everything's fleshed out. But I'm liking where it's going, and I think you will too. So
I'm just a complete sucker for like complete utter total badass. Has you know, and then a kid enters his life and he's still a badass, but like he's like the whole Mandalorian, God of War. Like I eat those stories up.
All right, going past that, I love the idea of going up against the hordes of hell. Like just like the Doom Guy thing is actually really cool, and again, the original Doom Guy where he's going for to save the rabbit. Like just again that idea, it tickles me.
And like I love like the newer games where they have like the mythology of like the Doom Slayer, where he's like this myth, like the demons have a boogeyman, and it's a Doom Slayer. I love the thing that we fear the most. What they fear is the Doom Guy. It's like you got to be badass to where even like the most terrifying creatures are scared of you.
So,
School
not
for
trying to take anything away from that. I just wanted to move on. Move on. Yeah, Delicate. Here you go. Delicate comic will get you right in the feels. That's true, 100% true. But yeah, So yeah, Nick is coming back next week. We're going to talk about his comic more. You can go check out him on the different links that have been in the chat there. Anybody have anything else they're working on at the minute that they want to talk about before
yes,
I
read Omega Girl. I have issue 3. I actually have it like in a bag somewhere. I actually got proof copies. It's starting to look really good. It's coming together.
Nice.
Did
they ever get 2 up for digital sale?
I'm still working on it. And that's sticking in my craw. But as soon as it's up, I will be yelling it from the mountaintops.
That's exciting.
You better.
Gosh. And how about you, Metal? Anything you want to talk about today before we sign off?
I'm kind of always digging away at the X Dynamis Chaos stuff, so you can just go to the website, find stuff there. Even if I'm not posting like a new chapter or anything, which I did actually put a new novelized version of X Dynamis Chaos chapter up last week. A lot of people don't see those because it's all in one post for each act. So now Act 2 is up to the 3rd chapter. You can just find it on the site. But, I'm always doing like character profiles and things like that, adding to the lore, just like an expanding codex.
I do have something to show. Give me a second. I gotta keep people's appetites wet and on some level. Is this the one? Yeah. Okay. I am super proud of this, which probably means that it's terrible because all the things you're super proud of are usually your worst things. But
that looks really cool.
So in the newest issue I'm working on right now, this is a short piece, so it's not the gist of the whole book, but I do have Omega Girl fighting a lizard man who's wearing anime glasses. Which is specifically what I basically described. I was like, we got a lizard guy, but I want him to be more than a lizard guy. I want to add some cool design elements. And so we added these little nodules to his body to have this sort of like, sort of scientific cyberpunkish look to him. And then I was like, you know what he needs? I was still like, he needs something else in order to just really make his personality shine. I was like, you know what? Big old red anime glasses like out of Gurren Lagann. That's what we're going to do. We're going to slap those on him. And it actually added quite a bit of personality to him. And I really liked it. So if you like giant lizards, we at least got him for... he's going to show up at least for a little bit in the new issue I'm working on right now, which is going to be probably the best issue that's so far that we've been coming up with. So,
but did you know, according to Wilford Brimley, anime glasses are banned in hell?
Oh, I get that. It makes you too powerful. You'll just escape.
Well, it's too cool, and it's supposed to be hot there. That's actually pretty cool.
That's the worst ever.
Curse your superior logic.
So we almost have enough pickles for a sticker pack.
That's a good point. That's an excellent point. Well, we should probably do something with that.
In the Ideal Comics Discord, she was just last week. She was saying, "What if we had a webcomic?" I said, "Well, that's something we definitely could do." The Mattriarchy presents Spider Pickle, the Adventures of Spider Pickle.
Abigail is really excited about Dr. Connors. Yes, the lizard is probably one of my favorite Spider-Man villains, especially my inner child.
I'm gonna go ahead and drop this on there. Hey, check this out. So idealcomics.net. This is we're gonna wrap up with this one. Hey, it's a rock.
No, that's Crandor.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so idealcomics.net is my website where you can read old essays that me and the guys wrote a while back ago, but it also has links to all of our different stuff. So you can look at our webcomic on our Force of Good and Evil. You can look at our stuff on Global Comics. You can find our stuff on Webtoons that are all there on the website. So it's a good central place. It also has a link to our Gumroad store where you can buy Ideal Comics to read anytime you feel like. Stick them in your pocket. Carry them on a train. Do what you want. It's your e-comic. Read them how you like. Oh yeah, nice pick.
I can read it on the train. I can read it on the beach. I can read it anywhere.
Yes, but not in direct sunlight. It doesn't work that well.
I mean, if you have an anti-glare screen, it might be good,
Yeah.
but you know.
Yeah, sure. So, Space Tree, the Spider Pickle. Yep, all kinds of stuff is going on with that. So, okay, guys, that's it. That is the ticket.
Is that a pickle wrap?
I think that's a pickle wrap. I think we're done. You guys have any last comments from the chat? Is Spider Pickle related to Larry the Cucumber? Well, that's a question for another day, I suppose. You can on stream. What on stream? Oh, I see. Oh yeah, you missed it. Yeah. We started late, but we've been going for an hour and a half.
So, when will you be introducing Pickle Grimes?
I don't know.
I'm just making shit up. I'm sorry.
I'm not in charge of the pickle output.
The pickles organically come out of whatever stream we're doing, and it's whatever Mrs. H thinks is funny.
Well, to be fair, she does have a good sense of humor. So
yeah, it's hilarious, which is why I'm actually really excited for. I was telling you guys about the thing. I am gonna go ahead one last screen share to put us out with.
I do think we do need to do something with all those spider pickles. Like, I don't know if a sticker pack or like a webtoon of some kind.
So, but one thing I wouldn't go ahead and mention here. So this coming up here, the story that is dropping, or the first page of it is dropping on Friday. Is Mrs. H and I working on it together, and we co-created a bunch of new characters and tweaked elevated some background characters from scenery into something. And so I'm very excited to have be working together with her on this story. So yeah, so check it out. And also Friday, go buy some Owl books, yo.
Oh yeah.
Later.